Alright, let's get started with the second topic under UGC Net Paper 1, which is Research Aptitude. And this is probably one of the most interesting and also one of the most important topics for frankly anyone who's planning to do any type of market research or research to understand a theory or research for some practical applications. So, as research associates in the future and as professors, let's get started. So this is a small mind map that I've created, and what I've done is I've divided this into three main topics: research theory, research process, and research design. Under research theories, I've divided the notes into research concept, types of research, quantitative research, and qualitative research, and these are some of the subtopics under it. Research paradigm, which is basically philosophy, and a lot of questions come from here, the different types of research paradigms. Characteristics of research, such as reliability, validity, types of research, probably the most important topic here. Maximum of the questions under research have come from types of research. So you should be knowing what it means and the exact definition of what it means and where it can be applied. Next, we have research process, a brief on the steps in research, starting from ideation and then review of literature, methodology, and finally summarizing references. You don't need to go in a depth for this. You just need to know a few steps. Not a lot of questions have come from here. We have the different types of variables. Another important topic, the different type of scales. Few questions here and there pop up from here. Different softwares in research, which is a very common topic that I have been seeing in the last couple of years, especially in the 2023 batch. And we have biases in research, which is an important topic, and few questions once a while pop up from here. All right. In research design, we have handling data, the different types of data, quantitative, qualitative. We have the survey methods, we have the observation methods, the positives, the negatives of it, questionnaire, interview, and sampling. You know the two main types of sampling: probability sampling and non probability sampling. So, different types under it. We have hypothesis testing. This is a very important topic. A lot of questions come here and few numerical questions as well. Not very difficult. You just need to know the formula and do it once, then you'll be able to easily do the questions that come for paper 1. So mean, standard deviations, types of hypothesis, skewness, kurtosis, test statistics, parametric tests, non-parametric tests, when can it can be applied to what situation. Then we have research ethics, the different approaches to research ethics. Plagiarism is an important topic, and how UGC deals with plagiarism and what are the outcomes if you have plagiarized for 1%, 12%. So you have to understand all of this. And then finally we have research presentation, which has references, and the two main type of references, which is the APA style and the MLA style. So we'll be discussing this and how to write about it. There were a couple of questions in the 2023 shift as well on this, some abbreviations under this, and few key terms such as symposium, what is a seminar, what is a thesis, what is dissertation. So today I'll be starting with research concept and we'll do some few PYQs from this topic. So let's get started. Research paradigm or research philosophy, sometimes used interchangeably, sometimes they have their own meaning, but more or less here we'll use it interchangeably. Research paradigm is a set of belief, method, and assumptions that guide you on how the research is conducted and also the kind of answer you're looking to get into a research. So, what are the philosophies that guide you to do a research? And there are different types of philosophies. So, I'm guessing if you're in your second year of master's or if you've completed your dissertation, try to figure out what kind of research paradigm or philosophy were you looking at. So, the first type is realism. This seeks to gather information from the external world or external sources Alright, an example of a research topic under this would be studying the behavior of animals in their natural habitat to understand the predator prey relationships. Under realism, you have quantitative type of research where you collect data, try to use statistical methods to come to an answer. So Aristotle was quite famous for using realism kind of philosophy in his research. Okay? Next we have constructivism, a theoretical perspective that emphasizes the active role of individuals in constructing their own understanding and knowledge of the world through interactions with environment. All right? So, a very common example here is Jean Piaget's, what we've studied in teaching aptitude, his theory on constructivism and how children adapt according to their environment. So the philosophy of his research comes under constructivism. So, an example would be a science teacher guides students in conducting their own experiments, allowing them to draw conclusions based on observations and experiences. A research topic could be how collaborative learning shapes students' understanding of World War II in middle school classroom. So, the kind of research that's common here is qualitative research or narrative analysis. You have action research. So these types of research fall under the philosophy of constructivism. Next, we have interpretivism, which emphasizes the understanding of social phenomena through subjective experience of individuals, often using qualitative methods like interview and observation. So, interview observations, you have interpret where you're interpreting what happened. For example, conducting in depth interviews with survivors of a natural disaster. You were not there, but you're trying to interpret the reality that they lived. Okay, so research topic is mostly personal narratives of resilience and interpretive study of survivor of Hurricane Katrina. So the type of research that would come under interpretivism would be qualitative research. Max Weber was a very famous person whose research topics revolved around interpretivism. Next, we have hermeneutics. It is an interpretive approach focused on understanding the meaning of text or symbolic communication. For example, analyzing the religious text to understand their deeper spiritual meaning and how they influence followers' belief. Research topic could be interpreting symbolism in ancient religion text or hermeneutic approach to Bhagavad Gita. So through text, through symbols, you're trying to interpret it. So what type of research? Again, qualitative research. You have interpretive analysis. You have comparative analysis, which would be difference between religious beliefs of the Hindus who were influenced by Bhagavad Gita over religious beliefs of Christians who were influenced by the Bible. Next, we have pragmatism, a philosophical perspective that emphasizes the practical consequences and usefulness of beliefs, theories, or actions. So, let me give you a quick example. Implementing a new teaching method in classroom and assessing its effectiveness based on students. So, more practical. So, it's focused on solving problems and achieving goals. So, pragmatism, which is directly related to practical. So the type of research that would be under this would be more quantitative research, more survey based research, statistical methods would be used. Next we have epistemology, the branch of philosophy concerned with nature, scope and limitation of knowledge. How we think about knowledge, even what do you mean by knowledge, what do you mean by someone being intelligent, someone having a lot of knowledge, how do we interpret that? So all that comes under epistemology. For example, debating whether scientific knowledge or philosophical reasoning provides a more accurate understanding of the universe. So rationalism asserts that knowledge is primarily acquired through reason and logical deductions. So reason and deduction means something that's large. From here, you kind of know the smaller bit. using logic and reasoning, so statistical methods, quantitative research. Next, we have empiricism. Empiricism posits that knowledge is primarily derived from sensory experience. So you've sensed it, you've seen it, and then you're applying it. So inductive kind of reasoning. It emphasizes the importance of empirical evidence, experimentation, and induction. All right. So these are two very important key terms that you have to know. Deductive knowledge is under rationalism. Inductive knowledge should be empiricism. All right, let's go to metaphysics, the branch of philosophy concerned with the fundamental nature of reality, existence, and being. So you question, where do I come from? What do you mean by the universe? A lot of Kutzkazar's video, if you have any interest in philosophy and something I'm quite a fan of, revolves around metaphysics. It explores the question of nature of existence, the relationship between mind and matter, the nature of time and space, causality, the existence of abstract entities such as numbers or universals. So, metaphysics seeks to understand the underlying principles and structure that govern the universe and are placed within it. A research topic could be a nature of time or metaphysical inquiry into temporal reality and human perception. Next, we have ontology. I think this is a very common word that you might have heard often in philosophy of research. Ontology refers to the branch of metaphysics concerned with the study of being, existence, and reality. It examines the fundamental categories of existence and relationships between them. It explores the question about what exists, how things exist, and the nature of being, how we think, what do we mean by the soul, what do we mean by existing. So it's all under ontology. So the kind of research under this would be philosophical research, analytical research, axiology, a branch of philosophy that deals with the study of values and moral judgments. All right, it seeks to understand the nature of values, including the origin, meaning, and implication for human behavior. Let's look at an example. Analyzing how cultural differences influence ethical decision making in business practices. We all know Jews have their own way of doing business. Even here, we know that Marwaris have their own way of doing business. So, what are the different ethical principles that seem to guide the business of Jews over, let's say, Marwaris? So, you do a comparative study, and this would be under the branch of axiology. Next, we have positivism, which is all about statistical methods, practical applications. It refers to an approach that emphasizes the use of scientific methods and empirical evidence to study and understand the world. It is based on a philosophical stance of positivism. So, it's a very important term that knowledge should be derived from observable facts. Like I told you, quantitative methods, deductive reasoning. It should be generalizable, like a lot of physics problems, a lot of chemistry problems, a lot of science based. An example would be conducting a large scale survey to measure public opinion on climate change policies using statistical methods. Next, we have post positivism. Post positivism is a philosophical stance that emerged as a critique to the traditional positivism. A lot of social science theory was simply negated in positivism philosophy. They said a lot of research can be contextual. For example, psychology. A lot of theories in psychology is true, but it also depends on culture to culture. Such as Indian culture has a different perspective towards saving. So the psychology of saving in India is different than it is in USA. So they said even though it may be generalizable in India but may not be generalizable in the world. So it differed from the positivism philosophy. Hence, due to culture and context, came the requirement for post-positivism, where researchers acknowledge the role of subjectivity, context, and interpretation in research, especially in social science. So we've completed research paradigm and the different types of research paradigm. I've divided them into definition, an example, what type of research falls under it, and an example of a research topic. Try some of these self-test questions and see under what research paradigm do they fall under. And we can discuss the answer in our WhatsApp group, or you can write the answers down in the comments below as well. Alright, now if I were to ask you a question between what's the difference between axiology and ontology? I guess you've probably forgotten by now what these two terms mean. Yes, I've just taught you, but it takes time for your brain to store your information in the long term. At this point, it's still in your working memory. Only through consistent revision will it go to your long term memory. So don't worry if you forget certain key terms, concepts. It's only human of you to forget it. But there is a study technique for exactly this, and that's flashcards. And this is exactly why flashcards are super famous in USA, where it's common between language learners, where you tend to forget a lot, medical professions, and you might have seen flashcards being used in spelling bee contests as well, where you need to remember the spelling of lot of complicated words. And if you want to use flashcards, then you can go to spaced revision, you can go to community courses, or you can create your own flashcards as well. Let me quickly show you how. So let's say you're done reading this particular topic right now with I just taught you constructivism, hermeneutics, interpretism, and after you're done studying, then you have these flashcards which will help you remember. Now I'm forcing your brain to remember. What is hermeneutics? I might have forgotten. So show answer forgot. So it's gonna come again until you remember. Now I know, so I'm gonna do perfect. What's rationalism? It's under epistemology, where it's deductive kind of reasoning to come to a conclusion. Show answer, logical deductions, I know, so perfect. So this is how flashcards help you to put information in your long-term memory. Now, in order to make revisions easy for you, you have to first understand well, and second, use visualization method like mnemonics and mind map. So this is a mind map that I've created. I've grouped quantitative methods, qualitative methods, and mixed methods together. And one way you can remember is quantitative methods is related to maths. So maths is equal to p squared. So pragmatism and positivism. Next, for qualitative methods, I've used mnemonics. Curious human investigate mysteries of abstract and try to create a story around it. For example, see, Chandra is constructing his own theories. So, constructivism. And to do that, he meets up with different humans who gives them books. So, symbols and books, which is hermeneutics. After getting these books, he investigates it. On investigation, interpretism, he interprets the world around it and its mysteries. And in those mysteries, which is metaphysics, it's written about the universe, being, and is very interested about all of that. And once he looks at universe and being, he moves on to ontology, ontology of abstract. So OF could be ontology, maybe not a lot of story here, and then axiology. So after he gains meaning of universe being, he has his own ethical principles which he applies in abstract scenarios, which is axiology, moral consideration. So this way you can create a story. This is a very small story I came up with, but try creating stories because your brain is a visual learner, and if it can imagine, then it can learn better. And I understand that these terms can be very abstract to remember. So create stories, use mnemonics, they help you revise easier. But don't forget, revision is still important. Next, we have mixed methods, and the mnemonics you can use is real rats eat pizza. So, RR, realism, rationalism, empiricism, and post positivism. So, this way you can make revision easier for you and follow the same technique for paper 2 as well. It'll get easier and easier, and you will definitely clear UGC net. Alright, now let's come to the last topic under research concept, which is four essential characteristics of research. And the first one is objectivity. It refers to the quality of being unbiased, impartial, and free from personal feeling, opinion, or biases. To explain this, I'll give you my own example. When I was doing my dissertation in BHU, my topic was factors influencing health checkup in Northeast India. And even before I did my research, I thought there is less health checkup in Northeast India because of the fact that we don't believe in preventive health measures or health checkups. I believed that because my family doesn't do a lot of vitamin checkups or mineral checkups, because in our head we go to the doctor if we are sick. But if you're not sick, then why do it? So we don't believe a lot in preventive, and that's what I thought is would be applicable for everything. And even when I did my review of literature, I looked at research paper that validated my thinking. So it was biased. My guide came to my rescue, but you do get bias because of your own personal beliefs. So the main technique to ensure objectivity is procedure safeguards such as keeping complete records of observation and data analysis, standardization using uniform procedure in all data collection, set clear definition of concepts, avoid biases, external influence, personal beliefs, or observer perspectives, do a peer review, have data validation and triangulation, employ multiple methods or data sources. This is a key term that you'll have to remember. Next, we have reliability. Reliability refers to the consistency, stability, and dependability of research measurement, instrument, or procedure. It basically means that a study's finding should be replicated under similar conditions. So, if someone else were to do my research again on factors influencing health checkups, will they also get the same result that I did? So, some of the different aspects under reliability are inter-rater reliability. Inter-rater reliability assesses the consistency of judgment or ratings made by different observers or raters. Reproducibility, whether the test administered by different researchers yield the same output. Internal consistency, in the context of scales, a question is the degree of agreement or consistency among individual items measuring the same construct. When you're creating a test, you can't be asking one question and then suddenly jump to another, and then suddenly you jump to another and have a haphazard data collection. Test retest reliability assesses the stability of measurements over time by administering the same test or instrument to the same participant on two separate occasions. For example, if you're sitting for my interview and I ask you a set of questions, and then after some time, maybe a month or 2 or 3 months, the same questions are asked to you, will the result of these two be same? So this is reliability. Next, we have validity. It refers to an extent to which a research study accurately measures or assesses what it claims to measure. Now I'm claiming to measure factors that are influencing health checkups. I cannot go about and have something else in my research paper. My variables are completely different and not even related to health checkups. So, is my data set measuring what I'm trying to measure? So, whether the study findings are meaningful, relevant, and applicable to the research. Now, I want you to answer this question, which is a very famous question among all researchers. What is more important? Is validity more important or reliability more important? Next, you have generalizability. Maybe not so applicable in social science research, but still should be applicable in the cohort that you are studying. Generalizability in research is the ability to apply the result of a study to a larger population or context. So, this is about it with the first topic of research. Now, we'll do MCQs on our next video. And see, this is a really important topic because just from research theories, there were almost 56 MCQs that have come. So make sure that you study this properly, do the flashcards, test yourself, do the MCQs, test yourself more, and Rank 1 in JRF direct.